Through the semester in MedPL 150, you will be creating a series of projects and you will export your projects as web-friendly files to build a portfolio website for the course. I'm going to share a few options insofar as building your portfolio site. And if you speak with your lab instructor, you could use a different option than what I'm presenting here. Just be sure to let your instructor know. So one option is to use GitHub, a freely available service that developers use to collaborate and build applications. But it also offers something called GitHub Pages, which permits one to build a website for your project. So if you don't have an account, you would go ahead and sign up. I do have an account, so I'll just sign in, and it's actually saved. My username and password are saved on this browser, so I can sign right in. And on the left here, you can see what in GitHub language they use repositories. They use the term repositories, which are, you can think of as folders or directories for different projects. So I'm going to create a new directory and I'm going to call it medpl 150, all lowercase, no spaces. It's good practice that for web-friendly files to use lowercase and absolutely not use spaces. If your file name has multiple words, then you could capitalize the second word, the third word, etc., without using spaces, or some people commonly use the underscore as in place of a space. So medp150 is available in my account. I could create a description, and I won't. I'll just go ahead and create the repository. And all right, it is generated. So here you can see that there's a series of services that are included with each repo. Um, and one of them is under settings. You can go ahead and create what are called GitHub pages. So this is a publicly available page. GitHub Pages is designed to host your personal organization or project pages from a GitHub repository. I'm going to hold off on that. And first, I'm going to go ahead and use GitHub as a coding environment to begin coding my initial web page. So under quick steps, you can see that there is a desktop version of GitHub that would be linked to your account, and you could work locally on your computer. I'm going to get started by creating a new file. And I'm going to name my file index.html. So by default, servers tend to be set up to serve up what's referred as an index file to the client. So when you're on your browser and you go to, we'll say, our department site, fm.hunter.cuny.edu, the first page that loads up is the index page. It could be written in different languages, such as PHP or in Python or JavaScript. In this case, we're just starting from scratch and with the sort of most straightforward markup language for the web, which is hypertext markup language, or HTML. And HTML is made up of these let's see, what are they called? Now I'm blanking as I record this. Great. Okay, I'll say open caret your tags is the word I was looking for, and close caret. Most tags have an opening tag and a closing tag, hence the HTML opening tag and the closing tag / I'm going to make this a little bigger to make it easier for you all to see. So commonly there is a head area where you insert meta information about your page. I'm just going to include a title and call it Ricardo's MedPL 150 portfolio. All right, I'm not going to worry about anything else in so far as the head area. The area that what actually shows up in the browser is in the body tags. So in the body, I'm going to create a header one, H1, and once again, just call it Ricardo Miranda's Med PL port 150 portfolio. And the first assignment is to create a creative statement. So I'm going to do H2 and call it creative statement, and then write in a paragraph. So the P tag is for paragraphs. Um, I enjoy creating art as a form of communication and interaction. Now, your creative statement will be longer, as is mine, but for this example, I'm keeping it short. I'll go ahead and commit changes, create index.html, yes, and commit changes. Okay, so now I have an index file in under the code area of this repo. I can go to it anytime, and I can once again here click this, edit this file, and start adding to it. So I could create a new paragraph. I could use the img tag to have the browser embed an image. I'll leave that blank for now. So because img tag has an attribute, which is src for source, and then you tell the browser where to find the image. In this case, I wrote img thinking ahead that I'm going to create a folder that's going to be titled img / and after the / I would write in the name of the file that I want served. For people who have are blind or do not see well, it's good to include a description. So I'll include the alt tag, and then in quotes, I would add a description for my image. I don't have one, so that's why I'm writing add a description for my image. So I'm going to close this tag within the opening tag itself by typing in / close caret. So earlier I said that most tags have an opening tag and a closing tag. The img tag does not, because the image that's going to be served up is within the tag itself by using the src attribute and then telling the browser where to find the image. Okay, so I'm going to commit these changes for now. And I'm gonna, once again, I'm gonna go to settings. So this is great. This is kind of like the back end where I'm building out my site, but I want people to be able to view it. So I'm gonna go to, once again, settings, pages, and under, so build and deployment, source, deploy from a branch. Yes, it's where it's gonna be the main branch because I'm not gonna have multiple branches. I'm not collaborating with anybody. This is just my own site. So under none, I'm going to choose main, and I'm going to go ahead and save. So root, it's referring to the root directory. That's the main directory or repository or folder for this particular project for MEDP150. Now that I've generated this, I will have a web page. And let's see, I want to be able to see the link. Sometimes, well, GitHub can take a few seconds or a few minutes to make changes and go and update. So I'll give it a little bit of time and move on to a few other things. So this is one example. This is one option as far as building your portfolio. Another option is to work locally on your computer and then transfer your files to a server that the film and media department owns for students to use. So in that case, you need a couple different pieces of software. So one is FileZilla. FileZilla is a pre-web internet tool and it's an FTP client. So if you were to use this on this is available on all the lab computers, but if you're working on your personal computer, you would want to download the FileZilla client. And that's because I'm not setting up the computer as a server. I just want a way to communicate from my personal computer to the server at Hunter North um, at campus. So I already have FileZilla on my computer, and it's this icon. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. And so what you see in FileZilla are a few different things. There's an icon for saving different servers. If I open this, you can see there's a site manager, and I already saved uh, the server for the department. It's this one that's called student test. So I could create a new site if I wanted to. I would name it, and then I would go ahead and log into it. So how do you log in? So you would log in by this area on the right. It's SFTP. SFTP stands for Safe File Transfer Protocol. And the host for all of us is fm1.hunter.cuny.edu. You can leave the port empty, login type normal, and the username and password is your net ID. So it's your CUNY net ID. Mine is Armira, and then there's my password. I've already saved it, so I'm going to go ahead and connect. And what happened, you can see here on the right side, there's been a change. So on the left side, what we see here on the left side is a representation of all the folders on my computer. So I have a folder named Hunter. If I go into it, you can see different classes, admin folder, etc. And below that, if I open one of these, let's see, the social games is a class from last semester. If I double click into it, below this top left window is representation of what's inside that folder. And if I wanted to transfer anything from my server to, from my local computer to the server, I can just go ahead and here's a skycube.png. I can just take this and drag it over. And what it does is it quickly, you can see it already here, it's already been served up to my fm1 .hunter.cuny.edu /Armira. So the name of my directory on the Hunter server is Armira. That is my NetID name. At this point, and you can see I have an index.html file, I have a script.js, and there's a couple different style sheets because I was trying different looks for this particular page. If I go to a browser, I just need to type in, and I'll use this page, fm1.hunter.cuny.edu /Armira. Let's see. Hopefully I got that URL right. Okay, while that happens, and your lab instructors will go over this with you. You can also at any point set up office hours with me to go over it. So the file transfer protocol does not have a coding environment like GitHub does. So you need to use some application to write code. Very popular coding environment is Visual Studio Code that's created and maintained by Microsoft. If you click this, I already have it in the tabs here. You could download the right Visual Studio Code for your particular operating system. All the computers in the lab have Visual Studio Code available. So I already have Visual Studio Code open. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. And right now, there's no project. I can go ahead and create new file. And I'll go ahead and type in, once again, index.html. And it's asking me where it should be saved. So I'm going to go to my documents and I'm going to create a new folder. This is local on my computer. Again, no spaces, all lowercase, I'll call it medpl150. I'm going to create that folder and I'll go ahead and create the file. So once again, this is going to be an HTML file. So we'll type in HTML. You can see it's not, oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. It will add code for you. And I'm just tabbing as I see the code generated, I'm just tabbing ahead. And wow, I had not tried this. They've made some updates and this is very convenient. So you can see from top to bottom all the tags. The first tag is HTML itself. You can add attributes to this if you want. One attribute is lang for language equals, and then in quotes, always the values for an attribute are in quotes. En for English, ES would be for Spanish, etc. You can look up the different lang values for the different languages online. So once again, there's the head and my web page. I'll edit this to Ricardo's 150 portfolio. And I'll copy and paste that to Ricardo, we'll say in the page itself, Miranda's 150 portfolio, in case there's another Ricardo in the class. And as I did previously, I'll add an H2 and add creative statement. And if I hit tab, it'll type it in for me, but I'm just typing it. Okay, so here I will delete this generated text with my creative statement. What's new here is this link tag within the head tags. This is if I was adding cascading style sheets. CSS file, CSS is used to create the design for your page. For now, I'm going to delete that because that happens later in the semester. I'll save this, it's saved. And now if I wanted to upload this to my server, well, first of all, before I go there, at the bottom right, there's a go live button. So if I want to go live, what Visual Studio Code will do is kick up or start up a server, and then you can see your page here. This is not the page that I was working on. Why did it? I want you to what it pulled up was the previous project I was working on, which was just a web page for a different class, but and it's connecting to that one. So we're not going to worry about that for now because that is not necessary. But what is necessary is that I want to show you how to I'm going to go to documents, how to upload your new files to your server, your school server via FileZilla. So I created in documents, I created a medp150 folder, here it is, and it has the index file that I just created in Visual Studio Code. And now I'm going to go to my FTP client. Okay, so here you can see that there's I'll go to the top directory that for now, I'm going to go ahead and just delete these files. They were just there because I was testing them. So I'm just selecting them all and right-clicking. I have a 3-button mouse, so I'm right-clicking. I'm going to delete them. Yes, go ahead and delete them. And I'm gonna upload my entire medp150 folder. So I have this folder, and I'm going to just go ahead and drag it directly from my Finder into my server space. So the main directory or the main folder on my server is just Armira. That's the name, that's my NetID username. I'm thinking ahead, like maybe I'll want to use this server for different classes. So I'm going to create a subfolder titled medp150, and that's where my file is going to be. So did that page ever load up? Problem loading page. Maybe it's because I don't have an index file. So Armira medp150. I'm going to hit return. Okay, so either I have, oh, HTTPS. So it's missing the S when I typed it in. Is it going to work now? There is, I was just sent a file from our admin, our administrator, our web administrators who set up these servers. And film1.hunter.cuny. Okay, let's see, cancel that. I'm going to use their test site. Okay, so this is looking better. Film, I'm not sure why it wasn't working for me. It bounced to Chrome. And okay, now I must have, let's see, I'm going to copy this. And film one. Oh, I think I was typing FM1. Okay, so apologies, this is getting long-winded, but it's film1.hunter.cuny.edu. Armira is the username. Here is the folder I just uploaded to the server, medp150. If I click into it, you can see that there's the H1, there's the H2, and there's a paragraph. That's the paragraph that was generated for me. If I want to see the code, so say you want to learn more HTML or look at CSS or JavaScript, you can go to, let's see, I'll go to, I'm used to doing this in Chrome and not so much browser tools. So there's a web developer. I'm using Firefox here, and under tools, there is web developer tools. Page source, that's what I was looking for. So here is the markup that I wrote in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I'm going to go back to GitHub, and I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to go to my pages to see if the link is there. Yes. So this is what I was looking for that I said I'd have to come back for. This is the URL that you will share with your lab instructors, and they will make it available to everybody else in the class so that peers can see each other's work. And so what this does is it's a kind of front end view of your repository. So I'll go ahead and click into that. And here you can see this is pretty much, well, I changed the, I wrote my own paragraph. So you can see that this is different from the one that I uploaded to the film and media server. Okay, so this is a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but these are two options to use GitHub to build out your portfolio site, or to use the combination of Visual Studio Code and an FTP client, such as FileZilla, to serve up your files to the server. I'm going to disconnect this from the server. Okay, so that button disconnects. There is more to cover. If I go to code, you can see that here I can add, create new files, I can upload files, And you can drag files here to add them to your repository. Now, one thing that I'm trying to remember is whether or not you can upload a folder, which I think you have to create a folder and then create or upload the images that would go into that folder. So let's see, if I wanted to drag this entire IMG, which has a series of images. Oh, look at that. Okay, so I was able to just drag my folder into my GitHub and MedPL 150 repository, and it added all these images. So now I'll go back to um, my index file and where I started to or I started to add the image tag. I now have, oops, I need to click the pencil to start editing. I just start editing all the time. My print .jpeg. .jpeg, actually, I numbered them, so 01. So this is a project I've been working on, and did I spell it correctly? I'm just gonna copy it from the file. I can see already JPP instead of JPEG, JPG. Okay, so I'll commit changes, and now if I go to the page itself, this time instead of clicking on the link and replacing this tab with the link, I'm going to go open new tab. And again, it takes a little while for things to update. So I'm going to go to the code and make sure I got this right. Maybe 150. Oh, so yeah, so I'm not seeing the folder. Oh. Upload files. So it might be that it's just since there's a bunch of images, they're being processed. Ideally, I would want to see a list of everything in this repo right here. I'm just checking that it didn't end up somewhere else. NPL 150. You could create a new file and just like I did with index.html, start writing your markup. All right, let's try this one more time. This time I'm going to leave the folder out of it, and I don't want to drag up. I don't want to drag all these images. Okay, so there's the image over on top of the 01. Processing your files. Oh, so shows up immediately now. Let's see. I'm gonna take the images out of this folder and just have one image. And I will once again go to upload files, and I will drag the folder. Okay, I see that it looks good. Commit changes. I know what I did wrong the first time. I thought I committed the changes, but now I see my folder here, IMG, and it has one image because I took the other ones out. And so now I should be able to go to the page here and, oh, Let's see. Sorry about this, everybody. I want this to be really short. img src for source equals toply01.jpg a there, I'm giving it a more detailed description, commit changes. All right. Mid P150. Oh, and I don't need this one anymore, so I can, let's see. I do want to, well, I'll worry about that later once delete it, but what is going on here? Ah, there it is. Okay. So the image is there. Great. It just takes a little while to upload. And you can see everything you've done. Yeah, so once again, I'll worry about deleting this later, but this for now is plenty. Once again, options to build out your portfolio are GitHub. There are plenty of other services. If you have one that you prefer, just let your lab instructor know. And the other option is to work locally with Visual Studio Code. By the way, you can work locally with Visual Studio Code if you're if you're using GitHub and just upload the files to your GitHub repo, as I did with the image. And or you can use Visual Studio Code and upload your files to the department server using the FTP client FileZilla. All right, that is way longer than I want it to be. Apologies for that. So I will stop recording.